Hey folks, welcome back to the kitchen here at the farm. We got the opportunity to make some really special soup for you. It's fantastic and we thought we'd do it for you today, so stick around. So the soup that we're going to make for you is called pho. It's a Vietnamese noodle soup. We used to eat this quite a bit when we lived out in California. My favorite restaurant was the Phoenix Noodle House. We've been there on our California food tour if you watched that video. But it's a noodle soup made with a really good broth. It's got different ingredients in it. You kind of build the soup. You can order it 100 different ways with different meats and all this other stuff. So the basis of your soup, though, is a really good broth, and we happen to have that today. So we made a really good bone broth today from the meat order that we got. We cooked down all these bones today with vegetables and herbs and spices, and we have a fantastic broth now that we can use for our pho. We're going to can the rest of that, whatever we have left. But this is our broth. Now the noodle houses and the ramen houses and all the other stuff that the Asian people, when they make soup, those houses will have like a pot simmering on the stove like 24 hours a day. And all their vegetable scraps, their beef bones, chicken bones, everything goes in that pot. And then they like simmer it all night long, and then they'll pull broth off the next day, keep it warm for their soups. But that pot will keep going, and it'll build more flavor the longer it goes and the more stuff they put in that pot. So their broth has a really deep, rich flavor because it's just been layer upon layer of flavors for so long. So we have our broth, and you want your broth boiling in the pot. It's got to be super hot. We have our rice noodles already made, and we have some other condiments already put together for our soup. So let's build it. So our first layer is our rice noodles that we cooked ahead of a time, cooked al dente, and then we tossed them in a little sesame oil to keep them from sticking together. Now our next ingredient is steak. This is raw steak sliced like paper thin. And it's got to be super thin, so when you put your broth in, it will actually cook the steak. The broth is 212 degrees going into this bowl, and it won't have any problem cooking the steak. You want to make sure you don't stack it up the whole thickness on like more than one level. So that's all we need there. And then the next thing you want to add is your condiments. One of which is bean sprouts that we grew right here in a mason jar in the kitchen. And we spent 3 or 4 days making these just so we could have this soup. Now the next thing we're going to use on here is a chiffonade of our collard greens. And chiffonade is just a fancy name for rolling it up and slicing it really thin. Next thing you need is some Thai basil. And don't skip this step. We grew this Thai basil just for putting in soup. It's an amazing addition to any brothy soup. It just gives it fantastic flavor. If you don't have Thai basil, you can substitute mint. Regular spearmint. Some people will use cilantro. But there we go. So far we've got one more addition. Now Kelly's won't have this in it, but it's some fresh sliced jalapeno. And you only need like 4 to spice up your soup. But I'm going to use 5 because I like me some spice. Now last but not least, certainly not least, is our broth. I cook up about 4 cups of broth per person because generally you're going to eat more than 1 bowl of soup and usually they come in a lot bigger bowl than this. You use a deep bowl, nice big bowl. This would be like a tiny bowl at the noodle house. So let's go with some of our blazing hot broth here. I can already see cooking that steak in there. See? So we're going to keep adding broth until we come up basically to the top of our ingredients. And there she is. You can see that steak already cooked. Fantastic soup. Okay, we give our soup a little stir here. Get everything combined. And then lastly, there's use some scallions or some chives. We have some chives from the garden. Sprinkle that on top. Now if you find you want it a little sweeter, you could add some hoisin sauce, a little bit in there, maybe a teaspoon, whatever you like. And if you like it a little more salty, a little soy sauce. I like to taste it first to see where I want, see what it's missing, or what profile I'd like. So let's give this soup a taste. That's good just like it is for me. Kelly likes a little hoisin in hers, but it's salty enough and I don't want to go sweet. But let's have some of this steak. That is so good. Got the little spice from those jalapenos. Got the greens in there and the noodles and that beautiful broth. I could eat this broth all day long. Kelly eats hers with chopsticks. She eats all the stuff out of the soup and then drinks the broth. But to each their own. Might be easier with a fork. Much easier with a fork. That's so good. Maybe just a touch of soy sauce. When I go to the noodle house, they have both of these on the table. Soy sauce and hoisin. And they also had some of that chili oil that you could put in there. I could actually spice this up a little bit and it'd be fine for me. Let's get some more spice. Remember that habanero hot sauce we made? I think that'll do the trick right there. Yep, that added just enough spice for me. Got all of our stuff ate out of the soup. Now my favorite part. Oh wow, that just warms you up right there. It's all in the broth, folks. You make a fantastic broth, you're going to have a fantastic soup. So save everything for your broth. If you want a really good broth, save all your bones and everything from Thanksgiving. Save all the turkey parts. Put it in a bag and freeze it. Save your vegetable trimmings. Save everything like that. And dump it all in a pot at some point and make this soup. Wow. Well, we went in for round number 2 on the soup at a second bowl. Fantastic stuff. You almost can't get enough of that Thai basil in it. It's so good. Highly recommend that. But the broth, the broth, the broth. I can't say that enough. Save up everything you got, ham bones, chicken bones, whatever. And put that in the fridge to make your broth with. Go to your butcher, have them save you some marrow bones. So we cooked those bones down all day today, and that was starting with a batch from the previous day where we cooked down a bunch of soup bones that had big marrow bones in the middle. So we have all that bone marrow, we have all the collagen, we have the gelatin from all the bones. It made it really thick and rich broth. Just amazing, fantastic broth. I can't say that enough. Now, if you find that your broth tastes a little weak, all you got to do is cook it down. Cook some more moisture out of it. It'll intensify the flavor of your broth. So, hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed eating that soup. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. Try it at home. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here on the farm.